Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at this Craigellachie 13-year-old Distiller's Art, Ohio, United States pick. Did I say that right, Dustin?
I don't know why you needed the United States thrown in there.
People overseas.
Our fans know where we're from.
Don't know where Ohio is.
I think Ohio is, since TikTok went viral with some only in Ohio thing, I think we're well known. It's not for anything good.
All right. So to tell you guys a little bit about this, we saw these Distiller Arts. We saw a couple of cask strength, nice distillery whiskeys coming to Ohio for an Ohio pick, similar to what Highland Park did. For different states.
Yeah. This is an independent bottler, so.
But this is an independent bottler, so we have another person's opinion on what they think is worthy of sending us. This one, again, I mentioned earlier, 13 years old, so a decent age statement.
Cask strength, 58 point something, Mike? I mean, this thing is a bold one here.
Yeah, 55.3, and this one is single sherry cask?
Single sherry butt.
Single sherry butt, forgive me.
So we're getting about 600 bottles out of this one, so there's plenty to go around because Ohio is not a Scotch market.
Yeah, so this is bottle 460 of 650. Yeah. Single sherry butt, non-chill filtered, no color added. Whiskey... like we asked them to do it. A little Ohio
Ohio sticker and all that, man.
Yeah.
Which, has not been a big sign of quality historically when it comes to their doing picks. They usually aren't so great. But I'll tell you this, guys. I've picked up 3 or 4 Craigellachie single casks over the last few years. I've only brought you official distillery releases because I've picked up some shitters.
I'm a supplier for the people that get their liquor, or Ohio gets their liquor from, the company that basically funnels it all into Ohio. And I just want to one day go into that boardroom and say, hey, look, let me tell you what the people want. You have no idea what people want in whiskey, but I can tell you.
Your analytics are telling you the wrong story.
Or just what I want you to hear. All right, so this one, Dustin, sherry cask maturation. This is a pretty dark whiskey, not overly dark, but you can tell it's had some...
Probably not a first fill, but...
But for only 13 years in one cask, this imparted nice color.
Yeah, definitely good color. Was definitely not a tired cask.
All right, let's
let me tell you on the nose, Mike. You don't miss that sherry.
No. A lot of the Craigellachies we've had have been sherried, especially the exceptional casks. They're usually always a single
I think they've all been
cask.
sherry, yeah. They really seem to like that. I honestly only had 1 or 2 bourbon Craigellachie's, and I have a port one that Party Source did. It's not good.
Yeah, but there's something about the way the Craigellachie style of whiskey, it goes with sherry extremely well.
Yeah, well, again, that worm tub process they do, they like to leave sulfur on here, and they really like to play with that sherry and sulfur. And I tell you what, I mean, it's beautiful chocolate and like that funky wormwood sulfur note that it's funny. You put it on something else, it's terrible. You put it on this, it's magic.
Yeah, I have often said and will often reiterate every time I do a review of a Craigellachie, this is sulfur, but not sulfur like you think of. It's not an offensive sulfur. It's as good as it can possibly be. It's a nice compliment to whiskey.
Man, I could just nose this all day. I mean,
yeah, you're right. Just beautiful milk chocolate. I mean,
a little bit of spice.
Yeah, exactly. Just a twinge of cinnamon. Some breadcrumbs.
It just puts me in a happy place.
Yeah,
man.
I was so glad we got some decent looking scotch that was cask strength, unchill filtered, uncolored.
$135 is very reasonable in this market for sherried cask strength 13-year-old whiskey. $10 a year for a sherry cask. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, and so far on the nose, this has been a fun whiskey.
Honestly, I am shocked it's 55% just nosing it, right?
It comes off like it's far less. It's so approachable.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly approachable, yet it's not light. It's rich, it's heavy, but it's not alcohol forward.
No, nothing's overpowering the experience. Like when you normally think 55% alcohol, you don't get this.
It's beautiful.
There's almost like a light cherry.
Yeah, I could see getting into like the light red fruits for sure. I mean, almost maybe
chocolate covered strawberry,
raspberry, cherry, kind of. I'd say 80 cherry, 20 raspberry.
Not quite as tart as a raspberry, but yeah, we're kicking around.
Again, I'm saying 80-20, like it's mostly cherry, but it's got maybe a little bit of that tartness.
Yeah, very pleasant on the nose.
I'll jump right in.
Yep, I was right there with you. Yeah, very pleasant on the nose. Yeah, it's some type of red fruit with a light milk chocolate covering.
So I've said this about this whiskey from the very first little sip I had. This is an incredible drinker. You just want to keep drinking this.
What are you picking up?
It's oily. It's viscous. It brings in that chocolate note that we noted. It brings in this like almost like sour yet honeycomb like note where you got honey, but it's like a sour honey, if that makes any sense. There's definitely a little bit of acidity. The sulfur notes in there, playing magical. I mean, now we're getting a little closer to that raspberry in terms of tartness coming through. But you've got really nice like chocolate. You've still got some good oak notes here too. So the 13 years definitely did an impressive job on bringing in those oak notes from a sherry butt, which, you know, is a very large container. 13 years, it's going to have less contact. Oh, man. I mean, just complex. Lots of stuff going on here, Mike. I mean, you're probably going to pull out 12 things I missed because there's just so much going on.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of very dessert flavors going on here. I mean, there's almost like a raspberry tart and also like a light chocolate strawberry mousse. Like both of those things like next to each other but combined in this drink. Man, that sharp red note with just a twinge of tartness is just playing so well in a decent warm day like this. You know what I mean? It comes off so dessert.
Dare I say toffee and coffee notes even coming through here in the end?
There's more of the dark notes than just milk chocolate, you're right.
Initially, I was just, you know, checking that off as being, oh, that's just part of the toasted oak note. But no, there's like an interesting little bit of a coffee, hints of toffee.
A little bit of vanilla coming in here at the end.
Oh, definitely some vanilla. Good long finish.
Mm-hmm.
Funky for sure, but in a really very pleasant way. Exactly what I want from a funk.
Yeah, this is about the safest funk you can possibly get. Golden syrup now.
I was gonna say like even like maybe like lightly toasted like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, I mean you said honeycomb, but it's almost like golden syrup. It's like as soon as you swallow, and then it kind of goes right into the, you know, tarts, a tad bit of smokiness. Twinge of metallic here on the finish.
Yeah, I can see that. Metallic. Very, 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 very subtle though. I mean, you're looking for it if you're finding that one.
It's almost like golden metallic rather than a zinc or a metal sort of metallic. As weird as that sounds, like you still see that kind of cooling metallic sort of twinge to it, but it's softened up and brightened up.
Can't say I've done a lot of chewing on different metals to associate those, but hey,
you know what I mean. Okay, now with water, just a few drops of water in here. It thinned it out slightly, but this wasn't, I wouldn't say thin, but this was not an aggressive in any one sense whiskey to begin with. So it's kind of spread out.
It's a nice, easy drinker, good mouthfeel, not super viscous, but enough.
Incredibly approachable.
That should, literally, they could just put that on the bottle. Approachable beyond belief.
Mm-hmm. You ever put this together? I think if they said, hey, someone want to take a chance on a little bit more aggressive of a scotch, something higher ABV, you're not going to scare them off, trying it again, for sure. All right, Dustin. Whiskey score time. Tell me where I am at on this. Second time I've had it. Been pretty impressed with it both times. I like everything about it. I'm not wowed by anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of going back between two numbers, 87 and 88. I'm going to give it the higher end, the 88 out of 100. Your thoughts?
I was debating 90, Mike.
Wow.
I think I'm kind of I'm there with you to some degree in that you're right, the wow factor's maybe a little missing, although the drinkability, the approachability, the fact that it's just such an easy drinker, I really think I do give it some value. There's a few things on the finish that maybe I don't love. And so with that said, I'm going to give it an 89. But it's a high 89. It's approaching that 90 for me.
Yeah, it was everything I had hoped for. When I heard about these bottles. When Craigellachie was giving this Ohio special out, kind of what it was, ABV and everything, I'm like, oh, well, I hope it's good. I hope at least it's this. And it was that.
I will be buying another bottle of this for sure.
It was at least that. It was definitely a very good offer.
Yeah, this is an absolute buy at this price. Absolute. This reminds me in terms of wow factor of like that Lefroy Cartier PX. Mm-hmm. The OLC Port Charlotte, and even maybe getting close to that Boona 12 in terms of just wow factor, great price, great value.
Yeah, to get a Craigellachie that's this good, normally you'd have to be over $300.
$200, $300, yeah.
For sure. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this Ohio special, we'd love to know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy funky drinking.
We'll see you then.